couple minutes ago. We got producer Matt currently at the microphone. What's going on, Matt?
Nothing much, Dalton. What's going on with you? How was your weekend?
It was uneventful, and I'm kind of okay with that. Considering the chaos that can be the college football season. Not a huge fan of the early bye weeks, but maybe it was necessary for the Louisville football team. Yes, 14-point victory over James Madison against a team that they clearly knew they were not better than, according to James Madison, but that's neither here nor there anymore. But it's officially game week once again. The Cardinals hosting Bowling Green on Saturday, opening up as almost a 27-point favorite. We'll get into that matchup later on in the show. Jeff Brom spoke with the media in his weekly press conference on Monday, gave a little bit more clarity into the Stanquan Clark injury situation. Unfortunately, it seems like it's confirming what we already felt. I know that there was a post by a national reporter last week that might have given us a little bit of hope, but it seemed like that door is shut all the way. Maybe not locked, but it's shut. We'll discuss the Taylon Kinney recruitment. That recruitment will seemingly wrap up here in less than 2 weeks. A little bit of talk about Tyron Stokes, Colvin Landrew, and more. And then we'll get a little bit into the parity of the ACC. Feel like we've been learning more and more about this conference over the first couple of weeks. Clemson has dropped the ball. Miami seems to have risen into that top spot. Georgia Tech could be a shocking team. We'll have some ACC talk throughout the show. But, guys, 12 o'clock kickoff on Saturday, and then Pittsburgh game time announced as a 12 o'clock kickoff the following Saturday. So I guess I have to ask, if you could make Rome, first of all, what's up, man? He had to go to the bathroom. Unacceptable, man.
Yeah, I had to, I can't risk it in the breaks because
It's all good. Surgery went well?
Went really well.
We're going to see if the our contributions and sacrifices to the injuries can maybe help Louisville, but unfortunately it seems like we got some bad news on Stanquan Clark. So
rough start already, but we're going to get there.
Rough start for sure. Question I was going to ask you all. With this season having, and we know that Louisville plays a lot of games at noon, right? I mean, it seems like the majority of games are at noon. We've had 3 of them so far at noon. Well, actually, we've had only 1 at noon. We haven't had a game at noon.
We haven't had.
Oh my gosh,
this is the first one.
Well, we're gonna have 2 at noon. Let me rephrase that. We have 1 at 3. There's a Friday night game that doesn't count. Let me ask you all this: if you had the opportunity for all of the traditional Saturday games, so excluding Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Monday night games, if you could choose one time slot for Louisville to play in, and they have to keep that time slot every single week of the season, are you taking noon? Are you going to take 3:30, or would you take 8 o'clock? So I'm not talking like 6:37, 7:30. It has to be 8 o'clock. So noon, 3:30, 8 o'clock. Which one are you choosing?
I'm taking the 3:30.
Are you?
8 o'clock's too risky in Louisville, unfortunately. I think that you are running the risk of people leaving before it's over.
I mean, that's always going to be the case.
That's true, but exactly. That's my issue. Is that when
my kid has school on Monday, we already get ready.
We already deal with the third quarter fans that leave good game in the middle of a Saturday. So let's not make it to where we're getting rid of people before the game's even finished just because of the time of night. Nothing to do with the opponent, nothing to do with the score. I don't want to. I'd like to avoid that, right? Personally, no brainer. 8 p.m. every single Saturday for me and my friends and my lifestyle. Not even in a debate. For what I noticed in my 2 years of going to games a lot more, seeing what our fan base looks like come halfway point of that third quarter if we've got a lead.
Yeah.
I would be fearful if the halfway point of the third quarter is, 11:30?
No. That's...
But yeah.
No,
not that late.
That's going to be close to the end of the game right there. You have to think.
8 p.m., it'd be, what,
those 12 o'clock,
10.
Those 12 o'clock starts usually, depending on the pace of play, 3:30. And then you have the 3:30 game. So 11:30, theoretically, your game's pretty close to ending.
Yeah. It should be.
What do you all think? 502-414-1450, the Game Day Men's Health text line to get your opinions in on this matter and any other Louisville talk. We're taking you up till 7 o'clock tonight. Before that, early season doubleheader on Monday Night Football, Texans, Buccaneers. And, of course, I'm wearing my Justin Herbert Charger shirt. They're taking on the Raiders tonight. But, you know what I've learned? You said 2 years of going to games. What I've learned from going to games all my life, Rome, is that Louisville fans will always leave early. you have a portion of the fans that go to games that are the diehards. And then there are those people that hang out at the party deck who are usually not diehards. Is it also time to have the discussion about getting rid of the party deck? Do we need to have this discussion?
I think we should have had the discussion.
Thank you.
I don't think we should get. I don't think they're going to get rid of it. I have a reason why.
Not getting rid of it, but like you've got to change it to something because I'm getting really tired of looking around the lower bowl and it being way more empty than it needs to look. Like there's people in the stands, but why are we? And I mean, it also makes the flight look empty. Now the flight deck is a different situation, but it's still people are buying those cheap tickets and they're immediately going to the party deck.
Until the majority of the people walking in that stadium have the same mindset on what they want this team to be and how they're going to get there, nothing's going to change.
I don't think it matters on the team. It's like this every year.
Because of the teams, the overall fan base doesn't have it in them to feel like we're going to be a contender, right? Until you make every single opponent a team that's going to get every single eye on that game and make every single game one that's going to impact the season, you're not going to get every person to have we're a basketball city. You know it, Dalton.
Well, let's look at it this way.
It's a party thing for us. For the football.
But doesn't that give you more incentive to get rid of the party deck or to alter it? Like getting rid of it might be illogical. It might be something that you really can't do. But change it to something. Make it I don't know. Put like some shrines up there. Put some gold statues. I don't know. Do something.
Make it the luxury status. Make it. You actually have to buy a ticket to get in here. You get free drinks when you get in here.
Okay.
But it's the most expensive ticket in the place, and you don't get a seat.
Let's look at it this way.
Okay. You'd have to pitch it a certain way, and you would have to like limit the amount of people. Like
let's actually make it a party deck. You're going to come up here to party, and you're going to pay more than everybody else because you're here for the party deck. You're not here for the football.
I'm okay with that.
It's the most convenient area in the entirety of the stadium. Like, it's got the most room.
Yeah. You
can walk around wherever you want. There's no security anywhere. They sell beer. They sell food. And there's no worrying, like, oh, well, I can just, maybe somebody showed up to their seat. I can't sit there. You just push somebody out the way. You move your seat, lose your seat. Move your feet, lose your seat.
It's the place where the families go.
It's where they all go. But the thing is,
I was about to say the opposite. It's where the college tailgaters go to mingle. I went up there. You and I ran into each other on the party deck. I was in my boot, you were in your brace, and I went to go to the bathroom because my season tickets are like, I don't know, like 10 rows down from
you're always
the top
right
section.
up there.
And I walked up to you, dapped you up, said what's up. It was halftime or whatever. We talked a little bit about the game and then, went our separate ways. But when I walked out of the bathroom, the third quarter had started, and
you can't walk up there.
Maybe because it's Eastern Kentucky and you're beating them by a good amount, but I've been up in the party deck enough to know you're not watching the game. There are not many people. There's maybe 10% of the people on the party deck actually watching the game. It's a college tailgate hangout is what it is.
At the party deck are there to go see people at the game.
Exactly.
They're there to see the people they know.
It's like an ice cream social.
And that's
without the ice cream.
Until
booze.
Until the mindset on Louisville football changes from beating big teams consistently, scheduling no bad teams. This is what's going to be the common.
I think it's going to be like that regardless.
Yeah, see, I can't agree with you.
I don't think it's a variable of how the team looks because I remember back in just a couple of years ago, 2023, when you lost to Pittsburgh, but you handled the majority of that season. I can remember going to games after that Pittsburgh game thinking, well, nothing has changed.
Yeah.
Right? UK game's a little different because of the rivalry, but
there's more people up there not watching the game than there is people up there
it's
watching.
Just an optics level thing for me. I mean, maybe it's old man yells at cloud type mentality, but I mean, it just kind of is what it is.
It's literally just too convenient. There's so many ways you could change this. Like,
if you're paying for a ticket in the flight deck and your seat is up in the air to where you have to constantly duck down from getting hit by a UPS plane, I mean, you're instinctively going to go closer to the action and say, you know what, maybe I have to stand all game, or I can just see what seats are going to be available right there where I can just walk down the steps and be there.
Yeah, at least I can cheer with some fans at that point. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, what are you saying about the convenience, Matt?
I think you literally just, there's too much stuff to do up there. One, you can either just stop selling beer and things up there, like make it a literal concourse, like you have to take this to get to your seat or something like that. Or I mean, the only pathways to the party deck are those two stairwells on the left and right side.
Yep.
You literally just charge people admission to get up there. It doesn't have to be expensive. It'd be like $15. Charge people to get up there.
$10 to walk up the stairs.
Yeah, they're paying to walk, and then you just set two.
Have a bouncer at the stairs.
That's all you gotta do.
Cash.
Just check their tickets. Like, hey, sorry, bro, go to your seat.
Just close those bathrooms up there. See what happens.
Nobody will go up there anymore.
Yeah.
Like nobody will. Now you'll probably find people in the concourse. That'll be another issue.
But then you can't see the game. Now you're watching on screen.
Yeah,
so.
and that's your fault. Like I'm fully against and I'm a person who uses the party deck. I'll be honest.
I don't use it to party. I use it at halftime.
I get there early. I sit up against the little railing they have, and I watch the game. But I go there.
So you're what's wrong with the fan base.
I am.
Hold on, whoa. How
am.
are you up there, yet still underneath the opponent's bench with those binoculars? So you're not doing your job anymore.
Body double. You never seen me and somebody else here there at the same time.
He's right.
You don't know if I got brothers or sisters, Dalton.
I suppose not. Matt Childers. But anyway, Jeff Brom met with the media on Monday, as he does during game week. Everything per usual. Usually with these press conferences, I mean, we try to do what we can to separate coach speak from things that actually matter to what you hear. And, you know, he told you everything that you thought you would hear about the opponent. Usually when you're talking about an opponent, you're saying what? Well, they're well coached. They play extremely hard. They're fundamentally and physically sound. I mean, you heard the same things. But first question that was asked, and forgive me, I don't know who asked it, but Stanquan Clark was asked about, you know, how does his injury prognosis look, and what have you learned from that? Now, we heard last week in a tweet from Matt Zenitz, CBS Sports. I thought the wording on it was very, very interesting because I had heard kind of what you all heard, and that his season was definitely in jeopardy with that lower leg injury. We're 3 months away from the end of the season. But now it went from, well, he's going to be out, quote-unquote, a while. He, at the very earliest, can come back in October. That was weird to me how that was worded. And I'm not, like, trying to dunk on Matt Zenitz, but the way that was worded, I was like, man, that seems kind of soon for a pretty serious lower leg injury. And then Jeff Brom, maybe he doesn't refute it. Maybe he doesn't, contradict what Matt says, because you could all kind of relate it all. But he says he's very likely going to miss the entirety of the season. There's a small possibility he could be back for the back end. So I think having that clarity doesn't completely, I'll say it shuts the door, just doesn't lock it. Like, the door is shut at this point. At this point, guys, here on September 15th, I am not operating whatsoever believing that Stanquan Clark is going to be back.
And I don't think Jeff Brom is either.
And I'm not sure that it's worth him coming back unless, and the only caveat, and of course you have to make sure his health is at your utmost priority, unless Louisville is about to play a playoff game. If not, don't do it.
But then again, that's the whole season. I mean, do we think that he's going to come back and play an immediate role if we're in that situation?
That's another thing. Is how rusty is he going to be? It's probably going to take some time for him to ramp up. The lower leg injury didn't look good. It looked terrible.
Did they ever say what exactly it was?
It looked like an ankle, but they didn't confirm. And that's why I was like, I had some people ask us, like, well, you talk about, why do you keep saying speculation? We know it was a lower leg injury. Yeah, but that's all we know. It hasn't been confirmed one way or the other. And what I've learned, having a severe high ankle sprain right now that I'm 6 weeks in and I still haven't resumed running, is that the foot is very tricky. The lower leg is very, very tricky.
A foot and a stress fracture on an ankle are way different.
And a high ankle sprain, way different. And it just, like, I mean, I would just once again reiterate how short in the grand scheme the college football season is. A severe injury and your season's in jeopardy. And like I said, you're already 2 weeks in having played. So something that I thought was, what'd you all think about the initial wording? Like when you heard early out, or well into October at the very least, I don't know, man. It gave me a little bit of hope because I was like, maybe they know something that I don't. But it was radio silence up until that point.
It sounded like they're just trying to keep the possibility open so no one makes these grand statements about what our season's going to be like if he's out.
But you know he's going to be out. You're not fooling anybody. even when he made that, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, how am I going to shape this hosting Locked On Louisville to be able to not come out and say he's out for the year while being able to come out and say that he's very likely going to be out for the year?
They didn't know how long and knew they had to say something before they knew. And I think they know, but they don't want to say it. I don't know why.
Maybe it's a certain thing, or like we said, foot issues can be very complex. So maybe he got a couple opinions. Maybe it wasn't something that he was able to get clarification on right after he did it. Sometimes you got to wait for that swelling to go down. That's something that I realized pretty quickly on is like, dude, you got to wait for the swelling to go down.
Yeah, if one doctor's telling you 6 to 8 weeks, another doctor's telling you 10 to 12, all you can do then is go see a third doctor.
And I had this conversation in the 1912 Discord that, are you in that?
I am.
No?
I didn't.
Matt, are you in it?
I am in it.
Good deal. I mean, if you're not in it, I would definitely suggest that you do enter. You can enter it up. If you go to my Twitter at @dbins_ and look at the post tweet for this show, there's a link that directly lays out how to get there. And it's a lot of great conversation about Louisville sports with some diehards across the fan base. There's also some content coming soon. And I teased it a little bit. I will be involved with that content to an extent. Can't really reveal what that is. Roman knows what it is. I'm not sure. Matt, I don't know if you do or not. But
I have no idea.
Okay, well, we'll tell you here.
They're going to surprise me.
Yeah, maybe. But I say all that to say that there's a lot of good things. I know the guys personally that set this up, and they put in so much work. And it's very impressive now, and it's only going to continue to get impressive. But back to the talk. TJ Capers, it's your time, brother. If there is ever a time for you to step up, Roma Kelly, it's time for Mr. Capers. Step up.
I've been calling for him to step up for a full year now, and now is no better time, TJ.
There's no excuse this year. Like, when he came to campus, he reclassified, right?
Yeah, he was a young guy.
And he was supposed to be a high school senior. He was injured, so he used that year to rehab. He comes back as a redshirt freshman in his first legitimate, college season. He plays a little bit, but not much, playing behind some main guys. But now, another year older, Stanquan is out. It's going to be a by-committee approach, but if you're looking at one guy that's got to step up, and Louisville needs to step up, prove to us, prove to the rest of the country that you are that five-star prospect that committed to Louisville, who at the time was the highest-ranked prospect to ever commit to U of L. And I know that development's not linear, but I think that if you're going to show us that you can be the guy in the future,
It's right now.
you got to show it now.
It's right now.
You got to show it now.
Stanquan going down. I mean, you've got the perfect spot to come in and fill.
Yeah.
It's Quinn and you and Perry now. Like, you are now the three main guys, I think, that are going to be getting looked at. Trent Carter, look out for him as well.
I like that. I think Carter is more of a producer Keith Artov and I call him Producer Keith. That's his Twitter name. Host of the From the Pink Seats podcast. Really brilliant football mind. He and I were kind of in agreement and had a good conversation when we were previewing the positions in the summer. I think Carter is more of the guy who could play into the star, but because of his coverage ability, don't forget Stanquan, that weak side linebacker, so he's more so in coverage.
Yeah.
That versatility, that sideline to sideline speed. That's where Capers comes into play. So like, well, why not TJ Quinn? Well, TJ Quinn's already starting. Plus, he's more of your thumping middle linebacker that's going to be really stout in the run.
And watches the running back.
You're hoping that he can be serviceable in passing defense, but it's TJ Capers, it's Caleb Perry that you're expecting the most to step up in this regard. Texter says, hold on, my screen went dark. Dalton, why does my father not love me?
Really? Is that what text we just got on the Game Day Men's Health?
Yeah, that is what we just got on the Game Day Men's Health text line.
Dalton, you better come with a good answer here.
I'm going to see if I know who this is.
Why does my father not love me, Dalton?
I can tell.
This isn't the most interesting question they've ever asked Dalton before either.
I mean, I think you have to understand that it's not you. It's not you. It's him. I don't know how to answer this.
I mean, if your dad doesn't love you,
that's on him. That's not on you. It's not a reflection, anything about you.
Needs to be more open-minded.
Unless you are Louisville and your dad is James Madison, and your dad just knows he's superiorly better than you, even though he lost by 2 touchdowns. Did we get the flag? Dude, we need to get that flag.
We need to get that flag.
Dude, that was hilarious.
That is.
And
a couple of JMU tweeters trying to get at us on.
Dude, I laughed. Like, it's weird. I've never seen somebody take so many victory laps. But anyway, Brom, also, we got a couple minutes before we get to the top of the hour and head to break. Nate Koriski back this week, according to Jeff Brom.
Big for us.
Big time. Especially, he mentioned that you have to – excellent segue, Dalton. He has to prepare for the unexpected, like you said with James Madison. And I think one way that's going to help the offensive line improve, not only with getting Trevante Sylvester back, and I guess his dad confirmed that he's going to be back soon. We need him back. But Nate Koriski is an excellent inline blocker. He has played that role for the Cardinals over the past couple seasons. Every time his number's been called, he's answered the call.
Big body.
And I think he could be – my thing is, I think Koriski could be that security blanket for Miller Moss. Having troubles throwing the ball all the way downfield, tight end play. Although you should be able to take those chances and succeed throwing the ball downfield when you got Chris Bell, Colin Lacey, Trayshawn Hurry.
Jalil's getting open.
He is. I think last game, I think we're going to see teams try to take some things away from what James Madison did, but I don't think we're going to see them fully incorporate that. So the further we get away from that game, you'll realize that it's not so much of the norm. It was more so James Madison realizing that this is their Super Bowl, even though it's weird because you're better than the team. Why would it be your Super Bowl?
Yeah.
And the team you're playing knows that you're better than them.
Most important game on your schedule, but you're better than us. So.
Yes.
Weird.
Hey, you've got Clemson, SMU, Miami, James Madison. It's like what was that Max Kellerman thing? He's like an alien death beam aimed at Earth, and I need to hit a 3. Give me Iguodala.
Over Steph and Clay.
Best team on my schedule, Miami, SMU. Give me James Madison. Come on, bro. Be all the way serious. Or be half the way serious. Like I said, Louisville does need Trevante Sylvester back. His dad confirming on Twitter. I mean, I guess it's a confirmation. He says he's going to be back real soon. I would imagine real soon when he tweets that out during the bye week that he's going to be back sometime in the next week or so. But that's going to help the offensive line play. I think one area of this line that struggles, I think they're really good on the interior. I think it's the tackle position that hasn't really been living up to expectations. And again, maybe that's a scheme thing. Maybe it's a preparation thing for James Madison. I didn't think they looked particularly great against Eastern Kentucky, especially with, setting up the run. Pass pro was okay. But, I mean, what more could you expect from a Jeff Brom press conference? But, guys, it feels like the vibes are just weird. Not from me. I feel like from the fan base, it's like everybody's like throwing in the towel because they beat James Madison by 14. And, like, you're trying to, like, see the forest above the trees, right? Bird's eye view. It could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
I'm not going to shame a 2-0
They overloaded on the thing we want to do most to prevent it, and they prevented it well. We still got a breakaway run to a touchdown, and we still doubled them up. So it's tough. It's I get Miller Moss didn't look how everybody wanted. I get the run game didn't find any openings other than the couple that it did.
Yeah.
I get that the offensive line struggled, right, to protect Miller Moss and allow him time in the pocket. I get that the receivers weren't getting open. There's something on every single one of those takes that James Madison was doing to make that actual aspect tougher, right? It's hard to get open when everybody's grabbing and holding and there's pass interference on nearly every passing play. When they're sending 7 guys against your 4, it's going to be hard for them to protect the quarterback, right?
It's a mathematics thing.
It is. So we've got to give them a little bit of
not
slack.
having Koriski there also hurts.
And then us just not hitting on our big plays that we did get on other than the 2 that we did hit on.
Feast or famine defense, you have to make them pay on those big plays. And one thing is also when they're bringing 7, sometimes when they showed that they were bringing 7, they actually brought sometimes 5. But
yeah, but the last guy came on.
Louisville did I'll say lackluster job of identifying who was going to be rushing the passer. Some of the guys dropped him back in pass coverage, but
they would stun a blitz and then back up.
Yeah,
and
they weren't identifying the
flying
stuns.
in.
Exactly. So when we come back, let's switch over to a little bit of basketball talk. Taylon Kinney making his announcement. here at the end of the month. And I'll be honest, Card Nation, I'm getting a little worried about where the Cardinals sit. More on that when we come back. You're tuned in to Mondays with Dalton Pence here on Big X Sports Radio. We'll talk to you at the top of the hour. Our 15th edition of Mondays with Dalton Pence here on the Big X Sports Radio. Dalton, Roman, and Matt taking you up till 7 o'clock tonight. We're going to segue you into the NFL doubleheader. It was nice to be able to sit back and have a relatively stress-free weekend. if you are a Louisville football fan, which you're listening to this, I would assume that you indeed are. But couple of fun events. Did you all watch the boxing fight on Saturday?
Saw the highlights, but
You a big boxing guy?
a little bit.
What about you, Matt?
Not really. Not a big boxing guy.
Well, if you are, I will say it was a pretty solid fight, but there is a fight. If you're looking for something locally, I will actually be the ring announcer for it.
Okay.
It's my third boxing event with the Superstars of Boxing. There's a main event on October 11th down at, I think was it the Bourbon Hall? I think that's what it is. Yeah, Bourbon Hall. DeMontez Juicy Duncan is, let me tell you, he is the
He's
next
like that.
big thing in the city of Louisville,
I've
man.
seen Juicy fight.
Juicy's a beast.
He's a real deal.
He's a beast. He's going to continue to get better and better. Man, Nicholas Barris puts it on. It's a great production.
Heard that
If you
name.
all have, if you all don't have anything going on, it's during Louisville bye week as well. October 11th. Make your way to the Bourbon Hall. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. I can
Watch a
get
nice
you
local fighter fight and a nice
yeah.
local guy on the call.
something like that. You'll see me in the ring with my suit on with the "Let's get." No, it's trademarked. Can't do that. But let's talk a little basketball recruiting, guys. Got about an hour left, give or take. And I know that this news dropped after our Monday show last week, but bless you, Rome.
Thank you.
I know you're trying to hold back from that, but it's okay, man. Just let it go. Talon Kenny announcing his decision. I think it's September 28th is that official date. Feels like all the vibes are headed toward Kansas right now. Not good. Not good.
Not great.
I will tell you, this is what I worry about. And I know that there are some will say, well, it might benefit Louisville, and I guess it could. I think that this is an Adidas battle for sure. It's Louisville or Kansas unless somebody like a Tennessee comes in like they did for Nate Ament. You know, it doesn't have to be Tennessee, but like an Indiana or Oregon or Kentucky. But I don't see that happening. I think it's Louisville and Kansas. And what worries me the most is the timing of all this. It seemed like the rumors were that he was going to make his decision but right before his season. That's usually, late October, early November?
Yeah.
Well, he sped that up. He canceled 2 existing official visits. Right after that official visit to Kansas, the narrative started to change nationally, right? Louisville goes from the pretty heavy favorite all summer to, well, Kansas is gaining some momentum, some traction. Watch out here. And now, following that visit with the national recruiting heads kind of all following this wave, he schedules the announcement. I'm not a guy who tries to read too far in between the lines, but it feels like the writing's on the wall here, at least where Louisville sits right now. If you made me predict right now on September 15th, I think it's Kansas. I think Kansas has taken over. And Travis Branham of 24/7 Sports has suggested that Kansas has taken over as the favorite for Talon Kenny. I mean, look, it's an Adidas school. They just got a big sum of money, $300 million or something along the lines.
New deal, yeah.
Bill Self is probably toward the ends of his coaching career. I mean, it's a tough pill to swallow. Now, it's not over yet. Louisville still can bounce back, but it seems like from all accounts at the moment, Cardinals might be in that passenger seat right now.
And it also maybe seems like there's a number that the Louisville basketball program kind of has that they're not willing to go over for any player.
That's MO. That's their MO, right?
So it's we think you're worth this. If somebody else thinks you're worth more than that, we're okay with that, and you should go there. And I'm okay with that.
I see another thing that Louisville fans are starting to say, like, can we do away with summer official visits? Is like guys are taking all of their visits anyway, so why not schedule your official visit for the fall? What do you think about that, Matt?
I mean, I don't mind it. I know it's like, especially in football, they're already shutting down the spring
Football's a little
transfer
different.
window.
Though. I saw something. What was it? Right after August, like 4 of the top 40 guys had committed in the senior class. That's low, man.
It's only up to 6 now.
Yeah, that's barely a fraction.
By this point in the year, that's never.
So at
the
this
case.
point, I agree with it. Like if guys aren't committing right after their visit, I'd rather you have an official visit. I guess they could still make another visit, right? But have an official visit in the fall to where even if you're the leader in the summer, you don't have to play keep away for the next couple of months, because when schools figure out the number that you're putting out there, what are they going to do? Well, they're going to try to one-up it.
Yeah, be the last visit. Try to just be the last.
Or
visit.
just, last visitor, not to where it's multiple months in between, right? Because that newness of the visit kind of wears off. That glamour of the visit wears off.
And there's something about, like, Michael knew what he wanted after his visit here.
Michael, I feel like, is very much a anomaly.
A little
you
bit.
are going to see many guys. Now, it happens here and there, but a guy signs and commits, and then months later it gets unveiled. That's not the case here, by the way, just for the record. It doesn't happen often.
It doesn't.
It happened with A.J. DeBanza, but that was a week before.
But we've seen guys both in the transfer portal and now both with the traditional recruiting in Michael, only Michael, maybe it seems, and maybe Kanai last year, with obviously a lot less of a something to prove to go get a name like that. There seems to be this mindset, I think, on what Pat Kelsey and them want, and if they can show you what they're trying to achieve and get you to buy into that, and you see what they're showing, I think we have enough proof with enough players to know that should be, like, there's guys that this is going to be enough, you know?
Well, yeah, but also it goes back to the point that I just made. Guys are taking all their visits because you're getting paid to do that.
Yeah.
You're getting paid to take the visits.
Which is
in Louisville, I absolutely buy everything that Pat Kelsey's selling. But he's not the only one selling a successful product, right?
true.
So, if you're of Kansas, you've got a national championship in 2022. Yes, it might be a past couple years where they haven't lived up to expectations.
More guys
but
recently in the NBA.
It's Bill Self. It's hard to sell against Bill Self and the Kansas brand. I just think in this matter, it is going to be a matter, Rome, I think that how willing are you to get close to Kansas's number? I feel like that's going to be the conversation. And if Louisville's willing to, and of course this is all gut feeling. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I've gotten told certain things, but nothing that's groundbreaking that you couldn't find out on your own. If Louisville's not willing to come off of the number they're at right now, I find it very hard to believe that Louisville's going to land Taylor Kinney. That's just my intuition. If they get close to Kansas's number, or closer to Kansas's number than they are right now, then I think we have a legitimate shot.
Here's what I think, something I feel like is maybe happening here with no proof, no way to know this. I bet you that Taylor Kinney number is closer to the Michael number than we are thinking.
The Michael number wasn't as high as people think.
Exactly.
That's something that was said a couple times by some people that I really trust, that the Michael number, I don't have a actual dollar figure to give you, but it was lower than perceived.
Yes. And I think that the Tay Kinney number is higher than a lot of fan base, like the fans are perceiving it to be.
Well, the market is more inflated.
It's changed in 1 year. Yeah.
What they say? Price of brick going up, right? Let's see. What is the number KU is offering Kinney? That's another thing. Is like I don't know the exact number, but I
saw something about $4 million.
Ooh, I highly doubt it.
I do
bro.
too.
How long do you think it goes before
really
that stuff
doubt
is
it.
like regulated public knowledge? Like it's almost like
we're already starting to see it, right?
Have to announce how much you're paying the player.
That Texas Tech offensive tackle, where when he committed, the dollar number was listed like agent facilitated this deal. So the number I think is kind of fluctuating. I haven't heard an actual dollar figure, but it would make sense because why else would Kansas all of a sudden be leading? Because you have
crazy out of nowhere with the number.
That's what I'm saying. But you have the local appeal with Taylor Kinney. You've got the proof with Chucky Hepburn that you can lead a successful point guard, or a successful point guard can have the freedom. You've got Michael Brown Jr. to commit. You've got the relationship with Tay. What else would it be? It has to be the money. And for a player that's ranked as the number one point guard in the country, suggesting to me that it's not the money, I think would be misguided. So it does, I feel like, Rome, this is, without having direct knowledge of what is going on behind the scenes, it does feel like a situation where Louisville has their number, it's set. We know that the Cardinals have their valuations and they don't like to go too much higher than that. They might come off of that number a little bit, but not much. Kansas might have just blown that number out.
I get that, but I'm fully trusting in Pat Kelsey, Dalton.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the bottom line. We trust PK.
Yeah, if he has a number that he thinks the player's worth and what he's offering, because this isn't, he's not trying to come and get a player here to come and take these open shots. Come here and do. The point guard position will be the most important player for us more times than not in the Pat Kelsey era.
Yeah.
You're asking somebody to come and take the keys. If we're offering you this number and the keys to our program for at least a season, and that's not good enough for you, I'm okay. Then I don't want you. Is that a bad mindset to have?
I mean, not really. I mean, you have to have some sort of roster building, right? Like, you have to be smart with the budget that you're working with, and I think that's the conversation that people are trying to have with the Tyron Stokes debate, right? But it comes down to the point to where I trust Pat Kelsey at the end of the day. He's shown that he can get big-time recruits, the results on the court, the transfer portal success. Like, Pat Kelsey has earned the benefit of the doubt. He has earned that. So my take is that if Louisville does end up on September 28th, if they do end up not getting Kenny, it's going to suck. 100%. But it's not something where I'm going to be a doomsdayer.
It's not the end of the world anymore.
I do think the optics look bad. A guy that you prioritized as like your number one guard option for multiple months, and you're the leader, and then in the fall you get big-bodied, so to speak, doesn't look good. It is what it is. I'm more concerned with who are you going to pivot to, because in prioritizing Kenny, other guys have cut lists, players that you were included for. Can you pivot to Deron Rippey and really get involved in that recruitment? I have my doubts.
Showing that he was now your number 2 option, kind of a thing?
I mean, possibly, but even then, like, his recruitment has advanced.
Yeah.
Dylan Mingo seems like, I mean, he's not in the mix anymore. I mean, it depends. What I don't want, and I'm not saying that this is going to happen, the one concern that I do have is I want a couple of high school players in each class. If you need to go to like the 30 to 75 range and get a guy that you really believe in the development for, I'm okay with that, because what I don't want is with the guys leaving this year. Now, I know that the 5-for-5 rule is potentially going to be discussed, but if you lose a good amount of players and you have to replace 6 to 8 guys in the portal, I think that that's a recipe for disaster, because you can't be as picky, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't zone in on guys like you did this offseason and say, okay, I want Adrian Woolley, Isaac McNeely, and Ryan Conwell. Boom, we get those guys. We're good. That's what we need. Because we have guys coming back. We've got the high school guys coming in. We got the international guys coming in. If the high school class is 1 to 2 players and you get maybe an international guy and you've got the veterans that are leaving after this year, you don't have that same luxury, because the chances
5 guys in the portal.
Well, you're also going to the portal where what's happening? Until that cap hits, the market is unregulated.
The value's going up.
It's just keep going up and up and up.
The player's skill isn't necessarily going up at all.
The price and value is decided by the market, whether fair or not. And it's something that might have hurt Louisville football this offseason. So with Taylor Kenny, losing him in itself isn't room for absolute panic, because Pat Kelsey is a smart dude.
Has shown he can go get the players
He's shown
he
it time and time again. And I trust him, and I trust this staff. The only thing is I'm kind of interested now. It's like, who do you pivot to if you don't get Kenny? Now, we're speaking hypothetical. There are still almost 2 weeks before he decides. But something's going to have to give in terms of what Louisville's offering, I would imagine.
Can't be point guard you if you're not don't have a good point guard in year 3. If you're
about to say, yeah.
Year 3, no point guard, can't be point guard you. So got to get something on the board.
It is going to be interesting to see what happens. I've seen some people kind of crash out over the trend, and there are some that are suggesting that Louisville is still in the lead. I just couldn't disagree more at this point. That's the way.
I'm seeing both. I'm seeing it. Kansas is a done deal.
Again, I don't think it's a done deal. Again, this is just our opinions. I don't think that Louisville leads anymore. I think that they're on the outside looking in, but I don't think it's a done deal. I think that things can fluctuate between September 15th and September 28th. It's going to be an Adidas battle here.
It is.
Going to be an Adidas battle. Hopefully Louisville can end up landing Colvin Landry. That's another guy that I'm really high on.
Colvin Landry, that's what I was thinking of earlier.
But he's not a guard.
He's not.
Well, I mean,
he's 6'5".
He's a wing. He's kind of that prototypical wing. I think that
It's a lot similar to like a Terrence Edwards with a little bit more size to him.
yes, from a body
Yeah, like
standpoint,
stronger.
very similar. I think their playing styles are pretty different.
Not very.
But-
the same,
I do think with how important guard play is, even if you go get a guy that's top 50 that you feel like you can develop, because Taylor Kinney I don't think is a 1-year guy. I think he's a 2 and done. I don't think he's not on Mikel's level.
No.
So understand that missing out on Taylor Kinney is not missing out on Mikel Brown Jr. because Mikel's in a league of his own, really. And not to mention, if you can get some developmental pieces, some guys maybe coming back, maybe then you can be more selective with the transfer portal, right? So again, control what you can control. And at the end of the day, with Pat Kelsey, I think that everything is going to be all right. Speaking of controlling what you can control, Mike just said it at the commercial break. You can't control accidents sometimes. To work, on the way home from work, at work, got to control what you can control. Life is basically 10% what happens to you, 90% how you react to it. And when you get into an accident, you need to react by giving Tony Collier a call. 502-736-8141 or visit CollierLawFirm.com. Tony has worked for the insurance companies. So like Mike said, he knows the playbook. Not like Michigan. He knows the playbook. He's going to get you paid. He's going to get you as much compensation permitted by law, and he's going to safeguard all of your rights and give you peace of mind. He's a huge Louisville fan, born and raised right here in the 502. His family is rooted in Louisville. And look, he is the way to go. Once again, 502-736-8141 or visit CollierLawFirm.com. When we come back, we're going to talk about the parity atop the ACC in football and whether or not that's a good thing for the Louisville Cardinals, coming up here on the next segment on Big X Sports Radio. On this September 15th edition of Mondays with Dalton Pence here on Big X Sports Radio. D. Pence, Ron McKelly, producer Matt Childress taking you up till 7 o'clock tonight. Some basketball talk, some football talk on the show. What's up, Ron?
Letting Matt switch mics. Letting Matt know switch mics.
Oh, okay.
All right, you're good now. My bad.
You're all good.
What are we doing, guys?
I had to prop this leg up here. I had to change mics.
Nah, you're good. We're accommodating for Rome. But ACC, another lackluster week in the conference for Louisville's conference. Once again,
lackluster's a way to put it.
Yeah,
Terrible.
yeah, it's hurting the perception even more.
Terrible.
And people are, why is 10-2 not going to get you in the playoffs? Well, look at the ACC. They had a really good first week, and then boom.
I mean, shout out GT, but Clemson's just not doing what we need him to.
No, and it's not something that I started to pick up on this week, of course, but just continually getting confirmed to me. The parity atop the ACC, the conference is wide open in terms of those two spots to get to Charlotte.
Yeah.
Now, Miami looks like the best team, right? In my opinion, Miami is the best team in the conference. That offensive line's like you put five Monstars. You put the Monstars in the trenches for Mario Cristobal.
Yep. Linebackers look good. Secondary's had some iffy moments, but
still they've been
technically they've been the best side, but best football team on both
when
sides.
you have that front seven, bro. I mean, Miami's good. They're really good. That is now the toughest game on the schedule because Clemson, I'll admit it, hand in the air, I'll admit it. I drank the Kool-Aid.
You did.
I drank Kool-Aid. I did. Preseason top 5. I thought with the guys that they had returning that, with another year of natural development, they had some young playmakers that were going to continue to play well. I watched Cade Klubnik look really good in Austin last year in that playoff game against Texas. I thought that Dabo Swinney's team was going to bounce back. Shame on me.
Yeah.
Through 3 weeks. Now, of course, the season isn't decided after 3 weeks, but Cade Klubnik doesn't look like the guy.
He doesn't. It's weird
Clemson
for me.
doesn't look like the team. Yeah, they're missing some players. Yes, they played LSU. Yes, they played Georgia Tech. Damn, man, what are we doing?
I said all year, or not all year, but the couple months leading into this season that I don't, say what you guys want about the Clemson offense. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning on the path of like the people that are saying that it's not going to be as good, which isn't very many people at all. Definitely none of the national people. But when Mike was kind of going on his tangents until the season started, saying that Clemson's not this, Clemson's not that, I said, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're not. The defense, though, I thought was going to be, regardless of what Cade Klubnik in that offense looked like.
Exactly. The defense hasn't looked good.
I thought the Clemson defense this year was going to be elite regardless of what that offense did, and it hasn't looked good at all.
No. And I think that it's tough when your offense gives you nothing. There's no continuity there. If your offense can't move the ball, your defense is going to be on the field more, meaning that you're not going to be as successful.
And the play calls on defense just haven't been accurate. Like, they haven't been spot on. I feel like the defensive coaching staff hasn't really been in tune with how they've been getting attacked, and they haven't been able to prevent it. So that's a bad look when you've prided yourself on roster continuity. Those are the kind of things that should look good, right? Everybody knowing what the playbook and the coverages and the zones are supposed to look like. And guys you had last year looking worse this year defensively is a very bad sign, Dalton. So, yeah, a lot of people seem to be wrong about the Clemson offense.
Yeah, I'll admit it. I'll take it on the chin.
The Clemson defense is the more surprising thing for me that I was also wrong about.
Exactly. 502-414-1450, the Game Day Men's Health text line to get any thoughts in about what you saw this weekend from the ACC. 502-414-1450. Of course, I think the main game that everyone was watching as it relates to the ACC was that Clemson at Georgia Tech game. And I saw some discussion after the game about how the Clemson loss helps Louisville. And I respect the take, but I disagree. I respect the take, and I respect the minds out there. I saw that Josh over at Cardinal Companion said that he believed that the Clemson loss benefits Louisville more than the other way around. And Josh he's a really good football mind, and I understand the take. I respect it. I don't fully disagree with it because Clemson losing, everyone thought they were a lock for the ACC championship game. So the parity helps in general, but the reason that I can't fully agree with the take that the Clemson loss benefits Louisville than the Georgia Tech loss is because Georgia Tech's ACC schedule is
They can go-
terrible.
No reason not
Rome.
to make the title game.
It is terrible. There's no reason.
There's no reason for them not to
If
make
they
the title
miss the ACC championship game, it's unacceptable.
game. And here's the only other unfortunate part about this. And here's the thing, my take on it. It doesn't help the ACC at all.
It
loses.
hurts.
So anything that hurts the ACC,
Clemson's a top 3 brand in the
anything that
conference.
hurts the ACC is definitely hurting you, who's trying to be viewed as somebody that is the top of the ACC.
Exactly.
With that being said, I do think that with across the board of the struggles that we've seen with SMU, we've seen with Clemson,
Yeah.
our chances at making the title game now, I think, are maybe a little bit better even. That doesn't make it a better thing for Louisville that Clemson lost. It makes it more likely for us to have a better chance of making the ACC title game now. There's no guarantee that we're going to be SMU if we're the loser of that ACC title game.
Here's another thing. Here's another aspect is that even if Clemson would have won that game, we know that they're not the Clemson that we thought. So the opportunity that the Tigers are going to run the table when they still have to play Florida State, Louisville, SMU,
Super low.
super low. So go ahead and give Georgia Tech that first loss because let me read to you who Georgia Tech's got. Okay? Let me read to you. They have Temple this week. It ends their, what doesn't end their non-conference, but it continues their non-conference. And then they go to Wake Forest. Not a good team. Virginia Tech at home. Just fired their coach. Lost to Old Dominion. Got embarrassed, okay? They're at Duke.
Terrible.
Duke is overrated. They're not good. They got blown out by Illinois. They lost to Tulane.
They can't stop a bleeding nose.
Doesn't matter how much you pay your quarterback if he's the only help you got.
Yep.
Syracuse at home. Syracuse had to take UConn to overtime, who just lost to Delaware.
Yeah.
You've got
Look good
NC
versus
State.
Colgate, but they're not good.
At NC State might be their toughest game, and they barely beat Wake Forest. They've got at Boston College, who
Run defense is absolutely abysmal.
by the way, 1-2 losing to Stanford by 10 points.
I think both games have had a 100-plus yard rusher.
And then they end the conference slate against Pittsburgh at home, who, yeah, they could be a spoiler. And look, I know Georgia Tech's offensive style isn't really one that projects a ton of blowouts because
It's
they take the air out of the football because
ugly football.
I mean Haynes King,
A dog
and the only
throw.
But here's the thing. Well, I mean, he can throw when everyone's selling out for the run, and he's got one-on-one coverage with who is it? Malik Rutherford. Is that the receiver
fastest
name?
guy on the field.
He's really good, but he was out for that game against who is it? Gardner Webb because he was banged up. He was limping this game.
He didn't look good versus Clemson. Yeah.
I mean, the durability has to come in question here. Are you going to be able to do this for a 12-game season? And if he's not playing or if his availability is affected, can Aaron Philo come in and still lead them to success? And I think that the answer is possibly yes because that schedule's so bad, Rome. They don't play SMU, Miami, Louisville, Florida State.
Take a look at Florida State's schedule. This is the worry. This is the worry for us in the ACC title hopes. Them being significantly better than we thought, and their schedule being pretty forgiving.
I mean, I agree, but I don't because they don't play Louisville or SMU, but they're hosting Miami. They have Miami here in a couple weeks, and then they're at Clemson. Stranger things can happen, right? At Clemson,
The fact
probably
at
going to be a
Clemson,
night game.
Yeah.
At that point, possibly. I mean, the Tigers could turn it around to some extent. We'll see, but yeah, I just think that win for Georgia Tech hurts Louisville more than it helps. Regardless, you're going to be assisted either way. Clemson losing does not hurt you. It's not the Clemson loss. It's the fact that Georgia Tech was the one that beat them,
Yep.
and that was the one game. I mean, they could be this year's SMU. They could potentially run the table.
I was
in the
thinking this
ACC.
year's Clemson.
And it's not. As much as I can see Georgia Tech losing a couple games because of the
When you have to throw the ball in a close game.
it's because Georgia Tech's style of play doesn't produce a ton of blowouts. It's just
Yeah, if you go up against a high-powered offense that can put a lot of points up. But the Georgia Tech defenses look better than advertised.
Brent Key's a stud, man.
He is.
I think unless he just values this alumni thing to its full extent, my prediction is he gets an SEC job at the end of this year.
End of this year?
I think so. Or a better job. Let me rephrase. Might not be SEC, but I think that there could be a Big Ten job that comes calling.
I wouldn't be surprised if an SEC job with a low expectation.
I mean, how many?
But then again, you're making more money.
How many have like
3?
LSU,
Georgia, Texas.
Alabama, Texas. Those
Alabama.
4.
Yeah, 4.
You have the pretenders that haven't done anything since we've been alive, like Tennessee. That's disrespectful. I'm sorry. My apologies.
I mean, it's not.
Josh Heupel's done a great job there. It's hard to succeed like that in the SEC, but at some point you got to win something. Florida at least has the late 2000s to be able to cling on to, and they do have an SEC title appearance from a couple years ago. But
You're right, they do. Who's that quarterback?
what?
I can't think of who that quarterback was, though.
For who?
That Florida.
Kyle Trask. You talking about the year that they had Kadarius Toney and Kyle Pitts? It was Kyle Trask.
I can't remember him for some reason.
Because he hasn't done anything afterward.
Yeah, I haven't heard his name since.
I mean, like, everyone thought. First of all, I think he went to, where'd he go? Buccaneers? I think he went to Tampa. I think it's where Kyle Trask went. But, I mean, who knows? Billy Napier. They're 1-2. They literally have Miami this weekend. This is a man that is actively coaching for his job. Who knows? Could you imagine if Kentucky opened up and Brent Key gets that job? That would suck.
That would be
would suck.
That'd be bad.
That would suck.
He'd go get an offensive line immediately, go get a good running back immediately.
Well, I mean, they've had offensive lines.
I'm saying, they'd go be playing good, though. They'd be...
No, but you would have good coaching.
Exactly, with real
with
athletes.
Brent Key.
Yeah. Ugh.
Gosh, man, that would be tough. And he's a guy that you would run through a wall.
That buyout's too big. They're not going anywhere.
Let's hope. And anyway, Mark Stoops is motivated this year, so they beat Eastern Michigan. Do you think that they're jealous that Louisville's getting some action this weekend?
No.
But hey, that's only for us. We're the only Power 4 team that's allowed to schedule half the MAC.
They could never let that be known. So. No, quote unquote.
Oh man, no, but you got Georgia Tech. Of course, Miami looks really good. Florida State. Am I off here for suggesting that I still need to see more before I can claim that they're the number 7 team in the country?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't seen the AP poll yet this week.
I didn't really, and I was like, number 7?
I hadn't seen the poll this week, and then when Rowan brought up their schedule, I opened it up, and I was like, am I looking at, like, softball or something?
I mean, they beat
Alabama,
7? Bro. They beat Alabama, and then they beat East Texas A&M, and then they had a bye. How far did they move up when they beat Alabama? I thought it was, like, the mid-teens. So why are they right now number 7? Well, okay, when they beat East Texas A&M, they were number 14. They rose up 7 spots in 2 weeks.
Scored 77 points
against me, you, Matt, Mike, and the rest of the people that work at the studio.
East Texas A&M had.
It sounds like one of those FCS
yards.
3 passes.
It sounds like one of those FCS like East, North, South, West teams that you play in like college football.
Yeah.
Road to Glory. It's
this is also
man.
coming from the same, like media outlet that has Notre Dame ranked, and they're 0-2.
Castellanos only threw the ball 11 times.
Could you imagine Louisville being 0-2 and still being top 25?
No, because they're 2-0 and they're not in the top 25.
I know.
That'll never happen to us.
It wouldn't. But
you're already.
God forbid you're Notre Dame. Yeah. You can literally. How long can Notre Dame not win a game before they're still not top 25 anymore?
I don't know. I mean, look at their schedule. They're probably not going to lose another game.
Yeah, I hate Notre Dame.
What do you think about SMU?
Overrated.
Because they had like a James Madison type win over Missouri State. Shout out Ryan Beard, by the way, on staff at Louisville at one point. That's a pretty former Louisville staff at Missouri State. They're a recent FBS team as well, although James Madison is just inside the top 40 in the AP poll, or they were when Louisville played them. They had one of those like, okay, the score might not indicate how much we struggled. And then not to mention SMU choked away a win against Baylor.
Had it in their hands.
SMU's another team that's got to prove it, especially defensively.
They struggled in the first half against Missouri State, Dalton.
That's what I said. Like the final score might not suggest how much that they struggled.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about their first game of the season. Yeah,
they're not favored this week. Like they are a 6.5-point dog to TCU this week.
They need a win. We need a win here.
ACC needs the win here.
We need a win here. SMU Mustangs, come pull it off, please.
I agree. But it's game week for the Louisville Cardinals once again. They're playing the Bowling Green Falcons. Former NFL Hall of Famer coaching the Falcons.
Yep.
And do you know what the spread is?
I have no idea. Let me take a guess.
Okay, and I'll tell you how close you are when we come back.
I'll say we are 27.5-point favorites.
I'm just going to tell you you're literally right there. It's like 26.5.
Really?
So I don't even have to tell you because you're right there. It opened up at 26.5. I saw 27.5 somewhere. So
Love it.
why is that? Why is Louisville seemingly, according to some people, having too high of a spread against the Bowling Green? I don't think that's the case. We'll explain. We'll preview this matchup when we come back on the final segment of Mondays with Dalton Pence. You're tuned into Big X Sports Radio. We'll see you back here in a couple minutes. One more segment to go on this, well, I would say Monday edition of Mondays with Dalton Pence, but that's kind of redundant. Of course, Dalton, it's a Monday because you're on the airwaves on Big X Sports Radio. Roman Kelly had to leave a little early, of course, with his knee surgery, unable to drive, so had a ride come pick him up. So it's just me and producer Matt Childress until we take you up until about 6:59 tonight. Matt, you and me, one more segment.
Just us two. I mean, Roman already slacking off. He
Unacceptable.
comes
man.
back to work. Talk about an ACL injury, and then he's just gonna leave early. I guess he just gets to do whatever he wants now. He calls the shots.
Man, no kidding. But we're gonna preview this upcoming game. Louisville has Bowling Green coming up after the bye, a team that's, of course, when you have a non-Power 4 team, sometimes it's hard to do your homework because there's not a ton of reference points. But Bowling Green comes in to the Derby City with a 2-1 record. Their one loss to the Fighting Scott Satterfields back on Saturday, September 6th, 34-20 in that game in favor of the Bearcats. Of course, first-year head coach, star NFL running back, former Heisman Trophy winner Eddie George is leading the Bowling Green Falcons. He did a very, very solid, superb job leading Tennessee State from where they were not a good program to when he left a share of the conference title. So 4 years. The overall record doesn't suggest just how good of a job he did. Bowling Green saw that, said, you know what? We're going to hire him on, and this is year one. Bowling Green loses a ton of production from both sides of the football, most notably offense. Most of their production from last year, Harold Fannin, now with the Cleveland Browns, who got drafted, one of the most explosive tight ends in college football last year. He is no longer with Bowling Green. Of course, Matt, 26.5-point spread for the Louisville Cardinals. When you hear that number, what's your initial vibe check with that?
That Vegas, to me, thinks this is going to be a lower scoring game than I feel like a lot of Louisville fans would say they think it would be. I know that Jeff Brom emphasized that Bowling Green likes to slow the ball down. They like to run the clock.
They do. Mm-hmm.
They like to play a really hefty game of defense. I want to say that Louisville crushes this over, but I think for me it depends on Miller Moss. It depends on how well we can use our time as wisely as they can with the clock, and how much can Miller Moss get the wide receivers in play, and are they just going to do what JMU did and just send 8 dudes at us?
I mean, I think that they're going to try to overcompensate for running the football right. They're going to force Louisville to go out and make those big plays in the passing game. And when I saw 26.5, I was like, it kind of was on point with what I thought. So 502-414-1450 to get any final thoughts into the Game Day Men's Health text line about this game, about the ACC parity, what you think about some basketball recruiting, Stanquan Clark injury news, so on and so forth. So,
I got a bet for you real quick, Dalton.
Okay, what is it?
What do you think the over/under is on how many times we see Pudge the Cat on television?
You know, I didn't know about Pudge the Cat until yesterday.
What?
I guess I'm living under a rock.
You must be.
So I of course do some PA announcing work for the University of Louisville, and I'm announcing Louisville women's soccer this season for the Cardinals. And the SID, Matt Paris, really good. I mean, he's such a stud, really good at what he does, and also he is has so much just random information, kind of like me. It's just that's what ball knowers do. Like they talk about sports that happened 20 years ago, but it's also like these facts that you wouldn't know. And Matt was like, "Yeah, wonder what Pudge is going to be doing." I'm like, "Pudge." And then I looked it up, like, why have I not heard this? Where have I been? I will say over/under is 9.5.
I think that's a really good line.
I'm gonna slam the over though.
I'm fully expecting this to be a really boring game on television, and they are just it's gonna be like,
if it's a blowout, that over's gonna smack.
I think it's gonna be like if the Chiefs are blowing out the Panthers, but Taylor Swift is in attendance. Like it's gonna be basically like the announcement of Pudge the Cat's new album.
What would Pudge the Cat's new album be titled?
Meow Money, Meow Problems.
That was eerily smooth.
I actually just came up with that. I'm not capping.
I'll give you some credit for that. Creativity is on point there. But 26.5, I think, is a pretty interesting spread. They do have another former Power 4 quarterback. He's been a journeyman. Spent 3 seasons at Notre Dame and then a season at Arizona State, then one with Missouri. Now he's at Bowling Green. Of course, I'm talking about Drew Pine. And Drew Pine in 2022 had a decent season for Notre Dame, 2,000 passing yards, 22 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Had 2 rushing touchdowns as well, but ended up losing that job. Goes to Arizona State, doesn't play a ton. Same thing with Missouri, and now he's with Bowling Green. And it's of course a run-first offense. He's got 2 passing touchdowns in 3 games. He's got 500 yards of passing. So this is we're going to tell you what we're going to do, and we're going to expect you to try to stop it. And that is running the football. Leading the way, you have Kadarius Roberts, 5'8" native from Florida, who's got 152 rushing yards. You've also got a guy that I think is going to be really good in the MAC. That's Cameron Petaway, who is the true freshman. But I feel like this is just kind of more the same. You might not necessarily have as much deception offensively that James Madison had. Like, I think James Madison is the better team, although Bowling Green took Texas A&M and Penn State down to the wire last year with different personnel. But still, I think that Louisville is just going to continue to do a really good job of defending the run, Matt. And that's why I feel like the Cardinals are, if they don't cover the spread, it's really close. I think that this is a blowout victory for the Cardinals. Probably not surprising many people with that. Most of my thoughts, however, are what's this passing offense going to look like? How well are they going to be able to protect Miller Moss, right? And how much are they going to try to combat the unexpected? Are we going to see more of a James Madison tactic of all hands on deck here? Or is it going to be, we're going to stick to what we do, maybe throw a little bit of flair into it in terms of stunts, but what you saw on film is, for the most part, what you're going to get.
I completely agree with you. I think that a team that is going to basically sell out their playbook on the run, I think that we're going to have a really good success, and we're going to keep the success up with the strength that Ron English has is that we seem to have a really great D-line this year.
Yeah.
Like, Conga looks really good. Obviously, Clef Lubin, AJ Green look like they're doing great off the edge. Like, I think that we're going to be – I predict that we'll handle this team on the defensive end. I completely agree with you that for me, we all know we can run the ball. We all know we can do that. Like, when things are firing and we got the game running pretty smoothly, when the offensive line is doing their job, we can run the ball successfully. Even in our first game of the season in which Miller Moss did play really well, we only saw him for one half. Like, I want to see a game where – we really let this guy loose and really let him build some chemistry with dudes like Trayshawn Hurry, with dudes like Chris Bell and Colin Lacey out there, and really give him the reins. Like, and if it doesn't work out, then we'll run the Isaac Brown game if we have to. But like, I want to see us really take the leash off Miller Moss and see what he can do.
Yeah, and look, I'm never one of those blessing in disguise type people. Very rarely, I should clarify, but I feel like Bowling Green is in the worst time of the year to take on Louisville, because 2 weeks ago, you watch Louisville's offense get embarrassed. And if your plan is to throw everything you have at the Cardinals' offense, well, you heard Jeff Brom on Monday say we're going to expect the unexpected, so you imagine they're going to have a better way to attack that. And number two, they've been preparing for you for almost 2 weeks. They're coming off of a bye week. They're getting healthy. I feel like this is a bad time to play Louisville if you are Bowling Green. Therefore, I'm going to say that the Cardinals cover the spread. I think 26.5. I think a lot of the damage is going to be done in the first half. I think the starters probably play 3 quarters, maybe more, maybe half of the fourth. There's a couple drives where the backups play, but I think this is a get-right game for the Cardinals. I think that bad taste from the lackluster offensive performance, I choose to believe is going to fuel Miller Moss. It's going to fuel Jeff Brom as a play caller. It's going to fuel this offensive line, especially with Nate Kriske back, potentially Trevonte Sylvester. And not to mention, you have a defense that I think you're going to be more equipped and ready to face Bowling Green's rushing attack because you just saw a better rushing attack from James Madison. So it's like, not to respect Bowling Green, or I'm sorry, not to disrespect Bowling Green, but I think that you faced Bowling Green on steroids a couple weeks ago, right? So there's no way that Bowling Green can do more radical stuff on defense because James Madison was feast or famine.
I hope you're right because I fully agree with you that this needs to be their get-back game. I want to see them come out here and just not take their foot off the gas, like straight, like Kirk Cignetti football style. Like, they don't care if we're up 800 points at halftime. Like, I want to see these dudes go out here and play some disrespectful football and build their confidence up and, like, really instill some fear in the rest of the ACC. And with everything that's going on and the absolute collapse that they had this week, I want other teams in the ACC to look at Louisville and say, this is a real conference contender.
Yeah.
Like, they're not only going out there and, competing in football games, but they are winning the ones they need to win, whether they're gritty or they're complete domination. That's what I want to see.
No, I definitely agree with that. And we got a couple minutes left, so it's time to call it how you see it. Prevented by the Collier Law Firm. Rome. Damn.
That sucks. That's awkward.
I'm sitting here thinking that Rome's right next to me, and I look over at the chair, and I'm like, he's not sitting there.
Okay. He just left a little bit ago. He didn't pass away.
Of course, but cut me a little bit of slack, right? I mean, usually he's in the chair where I'm looking at him right now. But I'm going to give you a couple of over-under statements, and you've got to give me your answer, okay?
Okay.
Over-under, Louisville covers the spread. Or buy. Let's go buy or sell, okay? Buy or sell. Louisville covers the spread.
Buy.
Okay. What would your official score prediction be?
42-10.
Holy moly. I was at 42-7.
That's funny.
Hell yeah. Great minds think alike. Over-under, Miller Moss. 2+ passing touchdowns. Buy or sell?
Buy.
Okay. I'm right there with you. Louisville will have a 100-yard rusher in this game. Buy or sell?
Buy. I'd say a decent margin.
Okay. Huh. Well, how can I stump you? What can I think of that's going to make you think a little bit?
Because I think we do. I generally believe that we let Miller Moss kind of throw the ball around, but I think in the, around, like you said, the third quarter or whatever, I think we see, Kejuan Brown or Duke Watson or somebody eat up.
Who leads the team in receiving yards Saturday?
Colin Lacey.
Okay. That's definitely possible because I think if they're trying to bring the house, you're going to see a lot of short yardage throws. And Colin Lacey is a yak monster after the catch. So I could definitely see that. I'm going to go Chris Bell. Kind of low-hanging fruit here. Just kind of makes a ton of sense.
Do you think – I'm going to ask you something really quick. Do you think we see a lot more of Nate Kariski, or do you think we see more Jaleel Skinner?
I think it'd be a little column A, column B. I think you'll see a good portion of Nate Kariski because of how good he is as an inline blocker. So if they are trying to sell out and stack the box, I think that's where you're going to see Kariski definitely be used. I think Skinner is improving in that regard, but comparing both of them as blockers right now, I don't really think is that close. Kariski's going to get more of the opportunity here. One thing I'm looking forward to as we kind of wrap things up, I really want to see Trevante Sylvester start this game. I think tackle play is something that has been leaving us a little bit more to be desired. I think the tackle play has to improve moving forward. And if you can get Trevante Sylvester back to protect Miller Moss's blind side, I think you're going to be in a really good spot. And, of course, I want to see Sylvester appear in a game before he plays a pretty solid pit pass rush. So, Sylvester, Kariski, and another thing is, of course, you want to make sure your guys stay healthy this game. No big long-term injuries like you had to deal with Stanquan on Friday night. So, Louisville, Bowling Green, 12 o'clock at L&N Cardinal Stadium, continuing the season. It is the game before the ACC slate starts next weekend and the game before Louisville goes on the road for the first time this season. The Cardinals, 26.5-point favorites currently. I know Mike, Roman, Matt, they're going to have everything he needs to know and everything that needs to be discussed as we go through the week Feels like this week's going to take a long time getting back to game day, but it is officially game week. Dalton Pence, Matt Childress, and the absent Roman Kelly signing off on this September 15th edition of Mondays with Dalton Pence. We'll see you right back here next week.